Hey, welcome everyone to Thursday Restorative Flow. We'll get going in about 5 minutes. Uh, Grabbing whatever you need. I'm going to cue big pillow, little pillow. So you might want to grab a big pillow and a little pillow and maybe a water bottle. Here in San Francisco, it's one of our rare hot days. So stay hydrated if you're practicing here in the city. And my guess is probably elsewhere it's also hot. So anyway, we'll see you real soon. All right, well, let's get going. Feel free to comment if you can hear me. That's important. And anything else that might enhance your yoga practice this afternoon. So, I'm gonna empty my pockets here. I'm also going to take off my wristwatch. Sometimes when we have a watch on, it tends to make us overly aware of the progression of time. In a restorative practice, we want to forget about time as we rest, relax, and release in a variety of different shapes. I'm working with a big pillow and a little pillow. And if you don't have big pillow, little pillow, you might use a small pillow. You might use a jacket. You might use a blanket. You might use nothing at all. But it's nice to have a little support. So I'm going to sit up on my big pillow here, grind it down through 2 sits bones. From that foundation, light and long in the spine, relax shoulders. A slight tuck of the chin as I start to bring my attention. I invite you to bring your attention inward. And we can start just by watching our breath as it flows in and as it flows out. Arriving here on our yoga pillows for a restorative flow practice. In this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, matched by a long, slow exhalation. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the base of the belly, the top of the chest, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to draw the low belly in and up any amount, squeezing a little more air out. A very conscious breath. To this more conscious breath, I'll invite you to find Jiva Bandha, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth. Hard to see, hard to demonstrate, but keeping that throughout the practice. Keeping our jaws relaxed and preventing us from grinding our teeth. Also connecting front and back planes of our body. From here, let's move a little bit before we hold the poses a little bit longer. So I'll invite you to find a twist as we bring one hand by one hip, other hand catches the top of the other thigh. Let your inhale grow your spine tall, and then finding a twist as you look over your back shoulder. Holding for 2 or 3 breaths with every inhale, sitting up a little taller. With every exhale, finding a little more twist, even if it's just on an energetic level. Now letting your next inhale bring you through center, other hand by other hip, other hand catches other thigh. Let an inhale grow your spine tall, and then finding your twist. Letting your inhale bring you through center, grounding down through a hand, other hand high. I'll invite you to lean onto that sits bone and keep the hand where it is as you slide that sits bone back down. And then holding for 2 or 3 breaths, just breathing into those ribs. Finding a little more space between each rib with every in-breath. And keeping that space as you breathe out. Now letting an inhale bring you through center, we'll ground down through the other hand high. I'll invite you to lean on to that sits bone and to keep the hand where it is as you slide that sits bone back down. And then holding for 2 or 3 breaths, just breathing into your ribs. With every breath, finding a little more space between each rib. Now letting your inhale bring you through center, let's bring hands on our knees and staying relatively stable in our sits bones and hips, just circling our torso. So primary motion here is the waist. And now starting to shift the weight between the 2 sits bones as we get a little bigger in these circles, a little more loose, a little more liquid. You might add a little neck action here. And then back to center, and we'll start small, stable through 2 sits bones as we just circle our torso, connecting with our center. And then starting to get bigger as we rock it from sits bone to sits bone. And then coming back to center. From here, let's switch the cross of the legs, so other leg front, other leg back. We'll ground down through a hand. Hand finds opposite thigh. Let your inhale grow your spine tall. And then finding a twist as you look over your back shoulder. Now letting your inhale bring you through center, and we'll find that twist the other way. Inhaling, growing that spine tall. On the exhale, finding a twist. Letting your inhale bring you through center, we'll ground down through a hand, other hand high. We'll lean onto a sits bone. We'll keep the hand where it is as we slide that hand back down. And then holding for a couple of breaths. Letting your inhale bring you through center, we'll ground down through other hand high. We'll lean onto that side. Keep the hand where it is as you slide that sits bone down, and then hold it as you breathe into your ribs. letting your inhale bring you through center, a hand on each knee, and we'll just circle our torso again. Starting small, you might think about a pencil spinning point, and then letting those torso rotations get a little bigger, a little more loose, a little more liquid. And then back to center, grounded down through two sits bones, starting small as we take it the other way. And then letting it get bigger as we rock from sits bone to sits bone. And then back to center. From here, let's uncross the legs, two long legs in front. I'll invite you to give your legs a little bobble. And let's give our legs a little massage here. So let's massage our knees, a hand on each side of one knee. And then let your fingertips find the back of the knees, or back of one knee, and just exploring that place. And then letting your kneecap be loose and relaxed as we give that kneecap a little wiggle. Other side, other knee. Two hands find either side of the knee, just warming up that knee. And then letting your fingertips find the back of the knee. Find a little more space in that place. And keeping the kneecap relaxed as you give that kneecap a little wiggle. Let's take the heels of our hands to our hips and just kneading those hips. And now let's bring fingertips to our low back, just massaging our low back. From here, let's find our first restorative pose, a supported back bend. And we'll come onto our back, so we've got big pillow and little pillow. I'll invite you to bring little pillow under the back of the head, and we'll lift up our hips, and we'll bring big pillow underneath our sacrum and backside. I'll suggest arms out to a T, the palms face up, and then hanging out here. Soft face, soft eyes. If you're comfortable with closing your eyes, and just hanging out here for 20 or so breaths. Hold the shape, feeling free to make any adjustments. Sometimes when we first get into these shapes, it's not quite right. So feeling free to make it quite right. And another 4 or 5 breaths here. So letting that sacrum be super, super heavy on that pillow. Now to come out of the shape, let's press the palms into the floor as we lift up the hips. We'll bring that big pillow out from underneath our hips. From here, let's find an easy twist. Let's bring the big pillow between our knees, also our ankles here. Arms out to the side, the palms face up, and then letting your knees fall one way as you let your head fall off the other. And we'll hold this for about 15 or so long, slow breaths. And another 2 or 3 long, slow breaths on this side. And to come out, let's move one part of our body at a time. So if you let the head fall off in the opposite direction from the legs, bring the head back center, or bring the legs back center. Taking a long, slow breath into your low back. And then on your next exhale, letting the legs fall one way. And then when you're ready, and if it feels right and good for your neck, letting your head fall off the other. And we'll hold this for about 15 breaths. With every exhale breath, just letting yourself get a little heavy, a little more settled on the floor. And as you breathe in, finding a little more space in your body from the inside out. And another 2 or 3 breaths here. And to come out, moving one part of the body at a time as we bring the head back center, solidly grounded through both sides of the back of the head. And then bringing the legs back center. And then just taking a big breath into your low back. From here, let's draw 2 knees into our heart. We get rid of that big pillow behind the legs. And then I'll invite you to cap your knees with your hands, inner knees together, and just circling your sacrum, keeping neutral pelvis. So there's a little bit of space in the lumbar spine. We're not tilting the pelvis forward. We're not tilting the pelvis back. And now letting it get a little bit bigger as we start to lose neutral pelvis. As we tilt the pelvis towards the face where the knees come in, and we tilt the pelvis heavy in the tailbone as the knees move out. One more time. And then back to neutral pelvis, knees center. And we'll start those circles the other way, starting small, keeping neutral pelvis connected with our center. And then letting that movement get bigger as we start to tilt the pelvis forward and back. And then back to neutral pelvis, knees center. We can stretch long to the right arm. We can roll onto the right side, letting that right arm serve as a cushion for our head as we share a long, slow breath here on the floor. I'll invite you to let that breath sigh out through your mouth, softening your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, softening the corners of your eyes. And then keeping your neck relaxed, your face soft as you're pressing into a hand to come on up. And let's do a supported forward fold here. So let's grab big pillow. Let's have legs nice and wide here. Not super wide, but say about outer hip width apart. And let's take this big pillow. Let's fold it in two. Let's take the other pillow on top. Let's find a cross of the forearms. It might take a little bit to get comfortable here, but then letting your forehead rest on those forearms, and as we come into the forward fold, rather than just collapsing into the forward fold, feel about lengthening the spine as you move into the forward fold. If a cross of the forearms feels like you're still a little too scrunched, I'll invite you to make a pair of soft fists and support your forehead. Just a nice gentle stretch for your low back. A little pressure on the third eye, the sixth chakra. Also an acupressure point that relaxes our neck, our shoulders, our face. And we'll hold this about 20 breaths. And another 2 or 3 breaths here. Long, slow, deep, rich, and full breaths. And then a tuck of the chin as we come on up. Let's bring the pillows off to each side, and let's work the swan with support. So I'll invite you to right knee front, closed knee joint. Now if this is too much for your knee, you can always do the swan on your back, this figure 4 shape, and hold that. Some people really love the intensity of this shape, some people not so much. So finding a place for the heel of the bent leg that's comfortable. I like the far hip point. If your hips are wider than mine, maybe you want to go a little more central. Let's take the big pillow under the glute of that bent front leg. From here, we want to have the swan in a nap position. We don't want to just collapse right down. We want to feel length as we stretch, stretch, stretch. And then either a cross of the forearms or a pair of soft fists as we rest and relax for about 15 breaths. And another couple of breaths here. Long, slow, deep, rich, and full breaths. Now to come out of the shape, let's push on up and let's rock onto the pillow supporting the glutes. Let's be super careful with this knee. So let's keep the knee joint closed. We'll bring the other leg front. And we can bring a hand to each side of the knee. As we bring the knee center, we can flex the foot as we straighten the leg. And again, let's give that knee a little love and consideration, a hand on each side. Fingers find the back of the knee. And then giving that kneecap a little wiggle. Let's find that supported swan on our second side. So we've got the left leg bent. Finding a place for that heel that's comfortable for you. I like the far hip, but my hips are relatively narrow for a big guy. If your hips are wider, my wife is telling me that she has wider hips than I do, which is a great thing. She likes to go a little more central, but make sure you're comfortable. We've got the support of the big pillow under the glute of the bent front leg. As we put the swan into nap mode, we want to feel length in the spine as we lay ourselves down. We can use that smaller pillow to raise the floor with a pair of crossed forearms, or maybe giving yourself a little more space to breathe as we find a pair of soft fists. And holding this for 15 or so long, slow breaths. And another 2 or 3 long, slow breaths here. And to come out, we can push ourselves on up. We can roll onto that glute. We're going to be super careful with the knee. We'll swing the other leg front. You can support the knee with a hand on each side as we bring the knee center, and then flexing the foot as we straighten the leg. And then giving that knee a little love and consideration, a hand on each side. Fingers find the back of the knee. And then giving that kneecap a little wiggle. Let's treat our toes to some love as we walk our feet in, just lengthening our toes, a little more space between the toes. And then fingers find the bottom of your foot, give the bottom of your foot a little love and consideration. Letting that love and consideration move the Achilles tendon. How does that feel? And under our calf. Oh, it feels so good. Anytime we give those lower extremities a little attention. Other side, we lengthen those toes. Fingers find the bottom of the foot, just massaging that fascia, giving the heel a little cup, coming onto that Achilles tendon, and then giving that calf some love. Oh, it feels so good. From here, let's do a prone back bend with some digestive stimulation. I'm going to turn a box off here. So we're going to have the pillow, this low belly region. So my navel's right here, so it's a little bit below the navel, so right here. On our belly, let's have the big pillow in that low belly place. Little pillow, again, raises the floor, either across the forearms or a pair of soft fists. And I'll say nice and wide with the feet, so outer hip width apart. And we'll hold this, say 20 breaths or so. Great place to connect with your breath. Your body has no choice but to rise and fall as you breathe. Another 2 or 3 long, slow breaths here. Now to come out of this shape, let's tuck the toes. Let's find a rocking horse push-up. As we bring our hands under our shoulders, we can ground down through the chin. We can start with an inchworm, the knees stay down as we lift the hips up. And then keeping the back of the head in line with the sacrum as we rocking horse ourselves up. And then I'll suggest a supported child's pose here. We've got the big pillow between the sits bones and the heels. And we got that little pillow again to raise the floor, knees nice and wide. Try to get your belly to nestle between those thighs. And we'll hold this either across the forearms or that pair of soft fists. Breathing into your hips, breathing into your lower back. And we'll hold it for 20 or so breaths. And another 2 or 3 long, slow breaths here. And coming on up, we'll push on up. Swing the pillows off to the side for a second. Let's do another nice stretch for the low back. So we're going to find this shape with our legs. So we've got a right angle on the front leg, a right angle on the back leg, and there's a good amount of distance between the two legs. We can take our pillows to the hip of the front leg. A little bit of a diagonal there. And we're going to lay ourselves down, facing away from the legs. Make sure you got support. You might have to adjust those pillows a little bit. And just letting yourself be super, super heavy. As we breathe into our back, as we breathe into our hips. And we'll hold this side for about 15 breaths. And another 2 or 3 breaths. And then pushing on up. We'll bring the pillows the other way. And we'll have the other leg in front, other leg back. It's almost like a running position. We've got a right angle here, right angle here. Good amount of space between the legs. Bringing those pillows to one hip. And then just laying yourself down as we breathe into our back, into our hips. Just letting some time, some patience, release and relax our bodies as we stretch out ourselves from the inside out. And another 2 or 3 breaths here. Just letting yourself be super, super heavy. And then pushing on up. Let's bring our legs straight again. Let's give our hips, again, that little knead with the heels of our hands. We might make a pair of soft fists and just tap. We might tap the tops of our thighs. We tap our shoulders, tapping our chest, and tapping our belly. And then again, fingers find our low back. Just massaging our low back. So we are in terms of our class here. All right, we got another 10 minutes or so. So let's do an inversion. So I'm going to suggest legs on a couch inversion. One of my favorite poses. We'll just use a small pillow here. If you don't have a couch, feel free to grab a chair. I'm going to drape my legs on this couch. I'm going to bring my thighs right to the couch. I'm going to support the back of my head with a pillow. I'll suggest arms out to the side, and we'll hold this for about 30 long, slow breaths. Just letting your low back be super heavy, letting your belly be soft, letting those hips relax and release. And another 4 or 5 breaths here. And we'll push ourselves away from the couch. We'll roll onto the right side. Hanging out there for a breath or two, just letting your right arm serve as a cushion for your head. I'll invite you to let your breath sigh out through your mouth. And then pushing on up. And let's set up for a butterfly pose. So a seated butterfly pose. So let's bring a little pillow under our sits bones. Let's come right to the edge of the little pillow so we have a little bit of an anterior tilt to the pelvis. Legs in a butterfly shape. Let's bring the big pillow behind to lift ourselves up just a tad. And then we'll lay ourselves down. And a little bit of a back bend here too. So it's like a rainbow shape to the spine. Arms out to the side. And we'll hold this about 20 breaths. And another 3 or 4 breaths here. Now to come out, let's use our hands to close the knees, keeping the inner thighs relatively relaxed. We'll stretch long to the right arm, we'll come off of the pillows. And again, just hanging out there for a breath or two, letting your breath sigh out through your mouth. And then pushing on up. And let's set up for a supported Shavasana. So I'm going to invite you to use big pillow, little pillow. Big pillow is going to be under the knees. Little pillow is going to be behind the back of the head. And it looks like this. We've got the big pillow under our knees. We bent the knees so we can let our hips relax. We've supported the back of the head so we can let our face soften. Arms out to the side, the palms face up. Doing whatever else feels right and good for you. And we'll hold this, about 30 breaths or so. Letting your front plane of your body fall into your back plane. Both planes of the body heavy into the floor or ground. Tip of the tongue is now neutral in the mouth. A slight part to the lips, but still breathing in and out through your nose. Staying in the pose for another 10 breaths or so. Deep, full, rich, long, and slow breaths. Hey, welcome, John. I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times as you hold your Shavasana. I'll invite you to listen to the striking of the tone, the duration of the sound, its subsequent diminution, and then the ambient silence thereafter. I'll invite you to move your minds before you move your bodies. Bring your attention back to your breath, just watching as it flows in and out. To this watching of your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, matched by an even longer, slower exhalation. We're starting to vary the ratio between the inhale and the exhale, letting those exhales be a little bit longer, a little bit slower than your inhalations, as we find a more relaxing breath. Now inviting prana into your body as we gently ripple the fingers and toes. And now inviting that prana in towards center as we gently circle the wrists and the ankles. I'll invite you to add a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shimmy of the hips. Intuitive movement as you connect with your feeling self. And now drawing one knee at a time, mindful of your props, into your heart as your hands catch your shins. And then just gently massaging your low belly as you gently lift and lower the low back and hips. And then coming back to neutral pelvis as we gently rock our knees from side to side. Hips follow. And the next time you rock to the right, rolling onto that side, long to the right arm, letting that arm serve as a cushion for the head, sharing a long, slow breath here on the floor. We'll invite you to let that breath sigh out through your mouth. Soft shoulders, soft jaw, soft corners of eyes, smooth brow. And then keeping your neck relaxed as we press on up. I'll invite you to find a cross-legged sit, whatever knee feels right and good, have that in front. As we sit, grounded down through the sits bones, hands find the knees, and pulling back with those hands to sit up a little straighter, a little taller. A slight tuck of the chin as 5 fingers of one hand find the floor. The palm of the other hand faces the sky. Ending our practice as we started, just watching our breath as it flows in and out. Now hands find the heart, and bowing as you thank yourself for practicing restorative flow. And as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world, the light within me honors and respects the light within you. Namaste. Thank you all for practicing with me this afternoon. Try to do a restorative class every week. Look on my Facebook page for when it is. We've been shifting it around a little bit just to see give different options for different people. People have different schedules. Anyway, we'll see you all next time. Namaste. Have a nice day and enjoy the evening.